Today lectures we will see some various basics commands, and what you need to do after completion of this class in the evening or tomorrow you may have time. So you have to run all such commands and you practice for how the commands are running and you see all possible options. See, you have seen that we have the command window and you find this kind of sign. And this sign says that your MATLAB is ready for taking the commands. So, and percentage sign we are going to use for the comment line. So every time you are going for the documentation, you need to write after the percentage sign. Whatever you are going to write after the percentage sign, your MATLAB is not going to execute it. It simply ignores that statement. It is just for the documentation purpose so that you can remember in the future that what you have done, which variable you have used for which purpose. So this is the utility of writing the document. Okay. Semicolon, you know that it is used at the end of the line to prevent MATLAB from the echoing. Means if you don't want answer, like if a is equal to 20 and once you press enter you are getting the answer, but if you say that b is equal to 20 and put semicolon, semicolon prevents to generate the output immediately, so you will not see the output. So this is the use of semicolon. Okay, so this is clear, I think. So you can do basics any things just like the calculator is doing. 2 plus 5, now you may think that where it is going to assign 2 plus 5, what if the result 7, where it will be assigned? So in the MATLAB you will find one default variable which is known as ANS. I think it may be, so this is the ANS. So ANS, this is the default variable in the MATLAB. If you are not specifying anything, if you say a is equal to 2 plus 5, then whatever be the result of this, 7 will be stored in A. But if you have don't specify just 2 plus 5, then result of 2 plus 5 will be stored in the default variable of the MATLAB. This is, and you can use any expression like this. And again you have to follow the rules of the mathematics. First you need to go for the multiplication, then addition and subtraction, and this is used for the power. Means you are going to say that 5 raised to power 2. So this is the operator which is used for the denoting writing the power. So this, see that whenever you are going to write some program you need to define some kind of variables, and then you need to give the name of variables. Otherwise if you give the same name for every time, then the information will go only in one variable and it will be override. So we need to give the variable's name, and we have to give the variable name so that different variables you can use. So generally whenever we go for writing the name of the variable, then there are some certain rules in the MATLAB, just like other programming language. So first your variable name must begin with any letter. Letter means you have A to Z, either small case or uppercase. Okay, so you can go for small case or uppercase, but A to first letter must be the first character must be the letter. Now later on you can mix up it. So for after the first letter you can have the digit or you can have the underscore, like this is the underscore, and this is different. Okay, so this is not valid, but this is valid. So you can say underscore. And MATLAB remembers 31 characters. Okay, so if you have written the 31 character same, but after that if you have written somewhere A and somewhere say for example Z, so your MATLAB will identify both the names as the same, because MATLAB can identify up to this much of character. So I don't think that you will have the requirement to write the names of variable like 31 characters, because you have to type also in the programming. So you give the simple names of the variables, and whenever possible give the name of variable so that it should be relevant of that purpose. Okay, so if you are using for some increment purpose, then generally ij we are going to use as the increment purpose. And if you are if you are going to assign some names, then you can say that variable can be written as the name. so that easily you can remember that okay, this variable is used for this. Otherwise, if you say a1, a2, a3, you can also give the name, but later you don't remember that for what purpose you have used a2 and for what purpose you have used a1 or a3. So your variable name should be relevant for the purpose you are going to use. This is one recommendation, I think. And there should not be any space between the letters or digits. So you cannot say that a b space z. This is not the variable name. So you can either put underscore, or you should not. If you don't have the underscore, you just go for this a b and z. You don't go for the space between the letters or digits. You should not have any space. And you can write different capital letters, a small letter, and then that will mix. That will be the different variables name. So a b, this is one variable name. If you write like this a and b, this is the next variable, because you know that in the MATLAB is case sensitive. You can write the name of the variables and file names, function names. Function names in MATLAB is also case sensitive. So if you are using the some function like sqrt, so you cannot say capital sqrt. MATLAB will generate error. So function names and variable names, these are the case sensitive in the MATLAB. So remember this thing. For defining the string, you have to put the just code like uh, you are saying that PhD. I am writing the variable name say string. So string 1 is equal to PhD, but you have to put the quote, single quote, and then this is the string. This will become the string. Even you can say that string is equal to 1, 2, 3, and if you put code, then this is not the numeric. This is the string. So remember. So I think you come to know that how to write the name of the variables. Give the name of the variable as simple as possible and relevant to the purpose you are going to use it. So if you have the a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, and you have not put the semicolon, means you will have the a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, it will be displayed. And this is the way average computation. Now once you say whose, then you say that once you are going to say whose, then you are going to find the whatever variables you have in the workspace, it is going to display along with the size. Like, so this is the, this is we have in the this is the workspace. We have the variable r theta xy presently, so it displays the size also, r theta, and 1 by 1 theta is the 201 points are there, x and y. In the circle we have executed the circle, and you know that we have the 201 points, and the class is double, means double takes 8 bytes, so accordingly this is the size. So once you say whose, it will display the size, and it will display the variable's name along with the size. And if you just go for the who, then you will find the name of the variables you have in the workspace, just name. If you say just who, then whose means along with the size also. This, if you use clear and clear all command, then it will clear the memory in the workspace. Whatever variable is there, if you say the clear, then the variables in the workspace will be clear. And once you say who, then see you are not getting anything because there is no variables. And if you say a is equal to say 5, and then you can say who, then you will have the variable a. And CLC we are going to use for the clearing the window. Yes. Now you need to, most of the time you need to go for the matrix. So say you are going to say a is equal to, you have to put the square bracket to say that okay, this is the matrix, and space is used for the separating the columns. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, so this will be look like this. You can also put comma instead of space. You can also use comma for separating the columns. So it is also 1, 2, 3. Now if you want to go for the, this is the range actually. We have already seen that it is starting from 1, you are going to 3, and increment is by 1, so 1, 2, 3. This is, if you go for the column matrix, then semicolon is used for the line separator. So you are going to uh, use the semicolon for the, you will get, so one column means you are now 2 will be in the second row and third will be in the third row. So this is the semicolon. If you use the semicolon, then you are going to find this kind of column. If you are going to space, then you can go for this. So this says row separator means this is the first, in this row this is the first value, second value and third value of this row, and this is the column separator means this is the column 1, this is the first row and first column, and this will be in the again in the first, second row first column, third row first column, like this. Now this is 1 2 will be in the same row and 3 4 will in the next line. This is, now this is one important thing. Most of the time we can go for the random numbers. So if you want to generate the random numbers, say you want to generate the random number 2 2 4, this means 2 by 4, you want 2 by 4. So you 2 rows and 4 columns, and the random numbers you will find like this, 2 rows and 4 columns, and these 2 rows and 4 columns random numbers are between 0 and 1. So maximum value will be 1 and minimum value is 0. So between 0 and 1 you are going to find. Most of the time you may be required for generating the random numbers. So you can also generate the random numbers not only from 0 to 1, you between any interval you can. So but once you use the rand24, then you are getting the random numbers between 0 and 1. So if you want to generate the, say if you want to generate the random number between 1 and 10, then you have to use the command rand PERM, and you can just say that 10. So from 1 to 10 it will generate the random numbers, and PERM is used actually to not repeat the digits. So between 1 and 10 you are getting the random numbers. So if you run this command from the command window, and the PERM 0, then see you are getting this thing. So you have the random numbers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So from 1 to 10 the digits are not repeated. So you have the, and if you want to generate the random number between 40 and 50, then just add that 10 plus, you can just plus 40, then you will get the random number between 40 and 50. So this is the way you can generate the random numbers with the help of the matrix. Okay. Now A is the matrix, and you have the A. I think you have defined the A or not, I don't know. So if A is some matrix, and then you can say that 2 into A. So in the second, say 1 2 3, A, assuming that A is equal to 1 2 3, then in the second row you will find that 2 times A. So 2 4 and 6, this is to multiply, this is, and this is the way you can form the bigger one. So matrix mat from back, this is one matrix, and this is the same matrix, but you are going to multiply by 2. So you may have the 2 by 3 matrix, 1 2 3 2 4 6, and next when you say like this, 2 times of, multiply 2 times of this, if you are going to multiply by 2 times, every element you are going to multiply 2 times. So 2 4 6, then 4 8 and 12. So that's why it is here. So you don't require to retype, or you can say just you can do like this and you will have the bigger matrix. Now I think you know in this case also. So if this is A is the matrix, then how you can remember, how you can access the value for this? You just, in the matrix actually you can number 1 2 3 4 5, then you can say 6 7 8 9 10 like this. So you just number, so like this A3, if you say A3 means this is If you say A2 means this element, A1 means this element. Instead of this, we should use generally this kind of notation. So A is the name of matrix, then 3, first one is the row and second one is to refer the column. So third row and first column. So this is the third row and first column. Okay. You can refer the range also if you want to refer this particular range. In other programming language, this is not possible. You want to access this sub part of this matrix just. So from which row? Fourth row, 4 to 5th, and column number 2 to 3. So you can say A is, you are going to access A from 4 to 5, from 4th row to 5th row, and column from 2 to 3. So this, in this way you can access this matrix, this part. Instead, you can say like this: A 9 14 and then 10 15. Why 9 14? Why it is 9 and 14? Because 1 2 3 4 5, then 6 7 8 9, okay, 10 11 12 13 14 and 15. So this 9 14 10. See, actually what happened, this is used for the matrix, okay, square bracket. So 9 14, then semicolon means 10, and then 15. So actually you are you are referring this. So from the matrix A, you are going to refer this. So your matrix ninth element, which is the ninth element, starting from this place: 1 2 3 4 5, then 6 7 8 and 9. So you are going to, our target is to 9, and the next row, what should be there? This element. So 10 here, 9 and 10. Are you getting? Then 11, 12, 13 and 14, 15. So 14, this is the 14 and this is the 15. So this is the different way of accessing this part. So in the 9th location, which one? 0.5. Then 10th location, 83. 14th. Now this refers the element location actually. This is not the element because you are going to use the subscript this, and this means in this place and this place, this place and this. This is the value, and you are accessing from this matrix the value at the position 9, 10, 14, 15. But value at position 9 will be here. Value at position 10 will be below this, and then 14 at the position 14 5 4, and at the position 13 15. This simply, this is the meaning. If you if you don't feel this convenient, you can just use this always. Most of the people are using this kind of notation. See, this is also this is one way. If you want to access this whole column, so what you can do? So you are going to access from 1 2 3 4, from row 1 to 5. So what you need to do, first one is for the row specifier. So 1 to 5, you are using the all 5 rows, and which column value? Column value 5th. So you are going to access this column only with the help of this command. Are you getting this thing? From 1 to 5th, all values of these rows, from column 5, column number 5, and which value you are going to access from the column 5? All these values. Means the values from the row 1 2 3 4 5, like this. Now there are number of ways you can represent this thing. A1 and end. So one column end, the column 1 starting from the row 1. And what is the end dimension of the row? This is first refers for the row name. So what is the end of this? It is the 5 only. For using end means, if you don't remember that what is the, if you say that from 1 to last row, and if you don't know, if you have the large matrix and you don't know the row what is the last row number, so you just use the one column end. Once you say one column end, it means you are referring all the rows. And similarly, if you are just you are interested for the last column value, so just say, instead of mentioning the number, you just say end. So whatever the end dimension of this column, this is the 5th column, this is the end. So if you have 1000, then n will be equal to 1000. So this is helpful when you don't know what is the last column, what is the number of the last column, and what is the number of the last row. But you are going to access the whole column, last column, and you are going to access. Similarly, if you are interested for the all row values, then just you don't require to go for 1 to 5. Just put the column. Column means you are going to access all rows. And which column will which columns? Fifth. All rows fifth column. So this is the answer you are going to do. So all rows and fifth column. And similarly, all rows and last column. Instead of mentioning the number, you can say and. And now from which place? From 21 to 25 means row number from 21 to 25. This is the row number. And your end is and this is what from 21 to 25. So you are going to access the element from 21 to 25. So this is one command. If you say 21 colon and, the and is 25 itself. So how many ways you can access this element? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 ways. So if you okay, these are the number of ways to access the same column. And when you know the number of last column, then you can go for this, or you can go for this, or you can go for this. Any options you can. Generally, we are not interested for this kind of. Most of the time we need to go for this, or this, because these are the more convenient way, because row and columns. Just you can say fifth row, sixth row, seventh row. We don't know what is the number of that particular elements. So we are not going to use much this kind of command. Only these are the most popular. Now you need to go to see some kind of operators. So you have the number of operators. Those who are not from the programming background, they should know that you need to know the operators so that you can use. So for this is used for the parenthesis. This is used for the transpose. If you want to go for the transpose of some matrix, so you can A transpose, you can say. So just this is for finding the transpose, you can say just this. If you want to find the power of 10 raised to the power 5, say for example, so you just say 10 raised to the power 5. This is for the multiplication. You are going to multiply, so you have to use this star sign. This is the division, and this is the left division. If you have 10 divided by 20, what is the answer? 0.5. 10 and this, of course, left division 20. Then what is the answer? 2. Simply just remember that 10 by means you are dividing 10 by 20. Here just you are doing opposite, 20 divided by 10. So this is the notion. So you don't go, if you are, sometimes you are going to use this, sometimes it is useful in some cases. So that's why this is also one option for division. This is the left division. Okay, if you are just using for your computation, you want to know that if you divide 20 by 10, what is the answer? Then you just go for 20 by 10. You are getting the 2. There is no issue. But this is used for some special cases, whenever you want this kind of division. Addition, subtractions, if you want to add, then plus sign, subtraction. Now transpose. Now whenever you see these are the dots, okay, you have the dot, and then after the dot you have the operator like star, dot this, or dot exponent. Actually, whenever you have the dot operator, it means instead of using the matrix multiplication, you are going to go for the array element by element multiplication, and that's why this is known as the array operator, element by element. So you can define any, say, if you have the any matrix like A and B, you have the two matrix, and if you say C is equal to A into B, A into B, you can see A is the name matrix 2, 5, 6. These are the elements. So 1 by 3, both matrix cannot be, you cannot multiply the matrix. Even you don't require to go for the MATLAB, just anyone you can immediately reply. Now see, instead of multiplication, if you put dot here now, ये dot मैंने लगाया, this is the dot. Now see the answer. This is the answer now. Now it will not generate the error. Why it is so? Because the dot operator is used for element by element multiplication. Now it is not going to, you are not going to multiply the matrix, just you are going to multiply the element by element. So first element of A and first element of B, you are going to multiply. So first element of A is what? 2. And first element of B is 3. 2 into 3, 6. Then 7 into 5, 35. 9 into 6, 54. So this is the importance actually. So dot operator, once you go for the dot operator, then it is used for the element by element multiplication. You remember. Just like if you can go for the power, if you have some matrix, like this is the matrix, okay? So if you have this matrix, and if you want A is equal to, if you say that you want to go for the exponent, if you do like this, then also you will find the error, because it is simply you are going to multiply the same matrix. So again you have to give the dot operator here, and once you give dot operator, you are going to find this value. So this is when you put dot actually, and see, remember that you have to use dot many times. In the next, once you go for the plotting, 3D plotting, 2D plotting, and most of the time you will have to make use of this dot operator. To must be you must carefully learn the use of the dot operator. So see, once you go for the dot operator, this means element by element. So you are going to, you are not going to 1, 2, 5, 6 the square. It is not the same. You are going to say that 2 square, 5 square, and 6 square. 2 to the 4 and 25 and 36. This is the answer. So this is the use of dot operator. So once you go for the dot operator, then you will have much use of these operators. Next, you know that you can practice at home inverse. You can determine the inverse of the matrix, determine rank, ion value, normalization, like the thing. So if you say, if you want to compute the inverse of matrix A, then you are going to do like this. A is equal to 4, 25, and 36, and just go for the inverse. A transpose, sorry. If you go for the inverse, then you have to write INV, and you have to say A. So once you go for inverse, it must be the square matrix. You remember. So say if you say A is equal to rent, okay. So 3 by 3. If you say 3 by 3, you have the 3 by 3, and then you can go for the inverse INV, and you have the A. Then you will get the answer. This is the answer. So for finding the inverse, you just write the function. This is the built-in function in the MATLAB. Okay. So now this, and now you have seen that A, B, and this is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This. B is equal to 1. C is equal to this. So what you are going to do? C is equal to, if you have A is equal to this matrix and B is equal to 1, 4. 1 means you have everything 1. 4 by 3. So this is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fourth column is there, and 2 row and fourth column. And this is 2 row, fourth column. 2 row and 4 column. So 2 by 4. And this is 4 by 3. Multiplication is possible. So C is equal to, you will get the answer like this. Very good. And the size. Now this is the use of dot operator. Here you can see that if you have the A is equal to 2, 3, 4 and B is equal to 1, 2, 3, once you put dot A dot star B, this means 2 into 1, 3 into 2, and 4 into 3. You are getting the answer like this. Now this is one, sometimes you may be interested to generate the matrix, identity matrix, where you have only the diagonal one you have in the diagonal, and other parts is other upper and lower part will be 0 entries. So you can use this command EYE. So this is the 3 by 3 matrix. If you go for the 4 by 4, then you can just go for the 4, then 4 by 4, because 4, once you say 4, then you have the 4 entries. Yeah. So if you say 4 by 4, then you are having the 1 2, and this is the 4. So accordingly you have to put the zeros, and this is, so you will be like this. So you have the, in the diagonal you have the 4 entries, like you have the ones 3 by 2, 3 rows and 2 columns, so you have ones. And zeros, sometimes you require that, okay, all and matrix, you need to generate the matrix of zeros only. So this is the special function you have in the MATLAB, zeros. So you can use 2 by 3, every entries will be 0. So at home you said you should practice all such commands. Okay. Now this, sometimes you may be using the direct command. This is one command, direct. Say k is equal to 1 2 3. So how many elements? 1 2 3. And if you say 0, means you are just, instead of in identity matrix you have the 1 everywhere, you have the 1. But if you don't want 1 only, if you want different values in the diagonals, then you can use diag command. So 1 2 3. So you want 1 2 3. This is in the diagonal, and upper part will be filled with the zeros. And if you just want this entry and this entry, so you have to specify 1. If you say this is the diagonal you have, this is the diagonal, and if you say 1, means you are going to refer this. If you say -1, then you are going to refer next this. If -1 means this is the -1, and if you say +1, means you are going to refer this. So this is the +1, so you are mentioning the value 2 and 3, and you have main diagonals. After the main diagonal you are going to +1, so this is above diagonal. So here you have the 3 entries. So this is the 3 by 3 matrix. So this is the use of this command. And this is the example of the minus. So if you have the -1, so 3 4, this, below the main diagonal. If you say -2, that means this one. So -2 means you have to write here, and you will have the bigger matrix. And if you say -1, then you are going to have this. So this is go up above plus and go down minus. So sometimes you may be interested to get the matrix like this, where you have only diagonals, you have the entries, maybe the different values, and everywhere is the zeros. So these commands are helpful. And you know that how to make, if you want to go for the bigger matrix, then you can just A is equal to this, and this kind of tiles you will get. You can check. So A is equal to 1 2 3 4. So you have every 1 2 3 4, then again 1 2 3 4, you are going to 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4. How many is 1 2 3 4? And similarly 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3. So you have 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So that's why you are getting this kind of bigger matrix. Now this is what, this is the okay, we have seen that already. I have explained, if you say first row and this column means first row and every column you are interested. So 1 -2 3 4, all rows and second columns we have seen. And end, this is the end of the rows, means this row, you are talking about this row, and you are talking about this column. So this is the value, end row, end column. Okay. Now you can also work on the string. For working on the string, you have to use the single quote. So string 1 is string is assigned the high there, so you will have the value high there. String 2 has isn't MATLAB is great. Remember that this double quote. If you want to put single quote, then you have to specify the double quote here. So you want single one, isn't, then you have to put double quote. Are you getting this thing? This. So isn't MATLAB great? From here to here is the string. Here you want to print single quote. That's why you are going to put it 2 times. So this is specify that you want one single. So this is answer. And if you go for the size, then high there, which one this. So how many characters are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and and the 8, and then you have the this column, this comma 9. So see that this is 1 by 9. So see that space is also counted. Are you getting? And indexing is same as the arrays. Now you have the different, you can work at home and you can see that you have the two matrix 1 by 9. This is also having the one how many characters are there? 9 characters. Here also you have the 9. And new strings, if you want to form the new string using these, then str means this you're talking about. Then you have the blank space, then string 1. So what hide there, then blank space everyone. So hide there, then you have the space and everyone, you have the bigger string. Now string 2 isn't MATLAB great. So new string, how you can form new string? So new string is equal to what? Hi there everyone. This is the new string. So hi there everyone. Then string 2 is what? String 2 isn't MATLAB great. So since you have put the semicolon here, so it will be displayed in the next row. So hi there everyone, isn't MATLAB is great. So you can see that using the square bracket, each row must be the same length. Here remember that the length must be the same. If length is not same, then you can use the this command or this command. String vcat. So you have to go for this command. So or you can use both the commands for this case. This is string vcat means vertical concatenation. V stands for the vertical concatenation. So you are vertically you are joining. So hi there, str is the hi there. This is the hi there, and string two is isn't MATLAB great. So since the length is not same, you cannot use the command this. You cannot use the square bracket like this. So for joining these two string in the different row, you can say the string vcat. So you can say string vcat. Once you say string vcat, then you are getting the answer. Hi there, isn't MATLAB. Here everywhere is the blank space, automatically padding with the blank space. So this is the way. And now at home you can practice how to compare the two strings. The string comparison. See everything in the lowercase. Here capital is written, but you have to type everything in the lowercase. So string comparison. If true, then it will return 1, otherwise it will return 0 means false. String and comparison. And means first n character you are going to compare. Then if first n character in two strings are same, then it will return 1, otherwise it will return 0. Find a substring with a larger string. So you have to use the find. In the larger text, you want to find some particular small text. And then string rep means you are going to replace some with some another string. So you have the string you want to replace with this new string. So you can use this one. Here numeric to string you can convert, string to number you can convert. You have the numbers 1, 2, 3. If you can convert, if you use this str to num, then it will be if this is the string, and if you use this command str to num, and then you can say like this, then you have the 1, 2, 3 answer. Now this is the number you can use just the numerical. This is string to matrix. So these commands you can practice, and for getting the help of all such commands, you can just use the MATLAB help facility. If you type help string function, then all functions related to the string you will find, and you will find all such functions. Besides these function, you will also find the other functions. Okay. Sometimes you may be interested for computing the equations like this. If you are given the equations x minus x1 x2 x3, and you are supposed to determine the value of x1 x2 and x3, then how you can solve this simultaneous equations? So generally you can represent in this form: ax is equal to b. So a x is equal to b, and x is equal to what? X is equal to, you have the column matrix. Actually this will be the x1, x refers here x1 x2 x1 x2 and x3. A means what? So a you are going to use for the coefficient of, so minus 1 1 2 3, minus 1 1, minus 1 3 and 4. Then b is equal to 2 4 2 6 and 4. So you can do like this. So a will be equal to -1, -1, 1, 2, and then 3, -1 and 1, and the last row -1, 3 and 4, -1, 3 and 4, and b is equal to 2, 6, 4, 2, 6, 4. So that's why we have to write in the this is the column vector actually, 2, 6, 4. Then x is equal to, we have the x is the values x1, x2, x3. So now you are going to do x, you are going to compute the value of x. So x will hold three values. First one is corresponds to the x1, next one is the x2 and x3. So x is the vector having the three values. So how you are going to compute? So here you have the inverse. First you compute the inverse of a, then you can go for the multiplication of b. So b is the column matrix. So it will multiply actually, because 3 by 3 matrix and 3 by 1. So once you compute the inverse of a, then if you multiply, then you are getting. For the same thing, you are going to do this. So b divided by a means, this is b means capital B, and you have the a. This means you are going to divide b by a. So a inverse b. So you can use either this command, or you can use either this command. So if even you don't know the mathematics much, and if you can see the methods of computing the simultaneous equations, then whatever x1, x2, x3, x4, whatever you have, you can easily compute with the help of the MATLAB. So MATLAB is actually basically designed for this purpose, for getting the help of the researchers. So you don't require to put much effort for learning all such thing. You just use the tools, ready-made tools in the MATLAB for your purpose, like plotting or generating the random numbers, or solving the equation, or solving the differential equations. So I have already explained you addition and dot operator, you know that, and division, left division, you know, the exponent you are doing. So at home you can study all such things.